Rasheed Abdul Wallace is a retired American professional basketball forward who played 16 seasons in the National Basketball Association. A native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Wallace played college basketball at the University of North Carolina before moving on to the NBA in 1995. Originally selected by the Washington Bullets as the fourth pick in the 1995 NBA draft, Wallace was named to the All-Rookie second team following his first season. He was then traded to the Portland Trail Blazers after the season. With Portland he was a key member of the Trail Blazers team that made it to the Western Conference Finals in 1999 and 2000, and was an NBA All-Star in 2000 and 2001. Wallace averaged a career-best 19.4 points per game in 2002 for the Trail Blazers. During the 2003-04 season, Portland traded him to the Atlanta Hawks, where he played one game before he was traded to the Detroit Pistons. With the Pistons, Wallace won the NBA championship in 2004, but lost the NBA Finals in the following season. Individually, Wallace was an NBA All-Star in 2006 and 2008. After the 2008-09 season, Wallace left the Pistons as a free agent and signed with the Boston Celtics, where he played until retiring in 2010. He returned to sign a one-year deal to play for the New York Knicks in 2012. Wallace is currently the NBA's all-time leader in player technical fouls, with 317. Wallace also holds the single-season record for technical fouls. In the 2000-01 season, Wallace received 41 technical fouls over a span of 80 games, about one technical foul for every 2 games. On April 17, 2013, Wallace announced his second retirement. Early life and education: Wallace was born and raised in the inner-city neighborhoods of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where he began his basketball career and attended Simon Gratz High School. He was named USA Today High School Player of the Year after his senior season and was selected first-team All-America by Basketball Times. Wallace was also a 2-time Parade All-American first-teamer. Despite limited playing time of just 19 minutes per game, Wallace averaged 16 points, 15 rebounds and 7 blocks his senior year. In addition to basketball, Wallace also ran track and high jumped as a teenager. College career: University of North Carolina coach Dean Smith recruited Wallace to Chapel Hill, North Carolina for his college years. Smith was a revered mentor both to Wallace and Wallace's eventual Detroit coach Larry Brown. Wallace has indicated that this North Carolina bond with Brown helped him adjust quickly to the Pistons system. During his brief time at North Carolina, Wallace had success in the national spotlight. He was named a second-team All-American by the AP his second year at UNC. Wallace and fellow future NBA player Jerry Stackhouse helped lead the Tar Heels to the NCAA Final Four in 1995. He left North Carolina to enter the 1995 NBA Draft after his sophomore season, being selected with a 4th pick overall by the Washington Bullets. NBA playing career Washington Bullets As a rookie with the Bullets, Wallace played in 65 games, of which he started 51 for the injured Chris Webber. Wallace was selected to the rookie team for the All-Star Weekend. Later that year, he fractured his left thumb during a game against Orlando and did not return until the following year. Wallace scored 655 points and played 1,788 minutes during his rookie season in Washington. Portland Trail Blazers After the season, Wallace was traded to the Portland Trail Blazers in exchange for Rod Strickland, a move that proved beneficial for both sides. Strickland averaged 17.2 ppg and 8.9 apg after the trade, helping the Bullets make the playoffs in 1997 for the first time in 8 seasons, and upped those stats to 17.8 ppg and a league-leading 10.5 apg the following year. Meanwhile, Wallace ranked 3rd in the league in field goal percentage. However, just as his season was gaining momentum, Wallace again broke his left thumb and was forced to miss the next month of the season, but he returned in time for a strong performance in the first-round playoff series against the Los Angeles Lakers, which the Trail Blazers lost. Next season, he signed a long-term contract to stay with the Trail Blazers. he began extending himself into the community more than ever, most notably with his Rasheed Wallace Foundation, but his career suffered from numerous missteps on and off the court. He set an NBA record with 38 technical fouls for the season. However, he would be fifth in the league in field goal percentage. The following year, he broke his own record with 40 technicals. Wallace was also suspended by the NBA for 7 games for threatening then-referee Tim Donaghy on an arena loading dock after a home game in 2003. That was the league's longest suspension for an offense that did not involve violence or substance abuse. Wallace was named an NBA All-Star in 2000 and 2001 and led the Trail Blazers to the Western Conference Finals in 1999 and 2000, losing to the San Antonio Spurs and the Los Angeles Lakers, respectively. Both teams would go on to win the NBA Finals. The 2000 series against the Lakers was most noted for the underdog Blazers squandering a 15-point lead going into the fourth quarter of Game 7. Atlanta Hawks On February 9, 2004, Wallace was traded to the Atlanta Hawks along with Wesley Person for Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Theo Ratliff, and Dan Dekay. Wallace played only one game for the Hawks, scoring 20 points. He also had 6 rebounds, 5 blocks, 2 assists and a steal in a close loss against the New Jersey Nets. Wallace was again traded, in a deal that saw him go from the Hawks along with guard Mike James from the Celtics to the Pistons. In turn, Detroit sent guards Chucky Atkins, Lindsey Hunter, and a first-round draft pick to Boston and guard Bob Shura, center Zeljko Rebrika, and a first-round draft pick to Atlanta. Boston also sent forward Chris Mills to Atlanta to complete the deal. Detroit Pistons After falling behind against the Indiana Pacers in the 2004 Eastern Conference Finals, he stated boldly in an interview that "We will win Game 2, a promise he helped fulfill." Wallace helped the Pistons win an unexpected NBA title, beating the heavily favored Lakers 4-1. After the championship season, he paid for replica WWE World Heavyweight Championship belts to be made for each of his teammates and presented them as gifts when the 2004-05 regular season started. In the off-season following the Pistons' championship win, Wallace signed a 5-year, $57 million contract to remain with Detroit. He also changed the number of his jersey from number 30 to number 36. Throughout the 2004-05 season, Wallace often carried the belt into his locker before games to inspire the Pistons' title defense. He had several notable moments in the playoffs. After the second-round elimination of the Pacers, Wallace played his best series of the postseason in the Eastern Conference Finals against the top-seeded Miami Heat. After falling behind again, he again guaranteed success. He shot a 50% field goal percentage and averaged 14.5 points per game in the series' 7 games, and saved his hottest shooting night for the decisive Game 7. Against the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals, Wallace was criticized for leaving Robert Horry open for the game-winning three-pointer in Game 5. Wallace's defense and clutch shooting helped the Pistons to split the series 3-3, but in the final game, the Pistons lost 81-74. In the 2005-06 season, he helped lead them to a 64-18 record, and the top seed in the Eastern Conference for the playoffs. The Pistons beat the Milwaukee Bucks 4-1 in the first round and then beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-3 in the second round of the playoffs. In the Eastern Conference Finals, the Pistons played the Heat in a rematch of the previous year's conference finals. The Pistons lost in 6 games to the Miami Heat, who went on to capture their first NBA title. On March 26, 2007, in a game against the Denver Nuggets, Wallace threw up a 60-foot shot off a stolen inbound pass with 1.5 seconds remaining and banked it in from just behind half-court to force overtime, letting out a huge roar from what was left of the diminishing Palace crowd, who had assumed the game to be a loss. The Pistons went on to win the game, 113-109. On June 2, 2007, Wallace fouled out of Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals after committing a foul on LeBron James and then received 2 technical fouls, resulting in an automatic ejection, for arguing with a referee. Prior to the 2007-08 NBA season, the Pistons would not re-sign Chris Webber, and putting Antonio McDyess as a starting power forward, put Wallace at center. On February 10, 2008, it was announced that Wallace would be replacing Boston Celtics injured forward Kevin Garnett in the 2008 NBA All-Star Game in New Orleans. The decision was made by NBA Commissioner David Stern. This was Wallace's fourth All-Star appearance. In the 2008 Eastern Conference Finals, the Pistons played Garnett and the Celtics. This marked the sixth consecutive time that the Pistons had made it to this point, and 5 times they had gotten there with Wallace in the lineup. Still, Detroit lost a third consecutive year in the conference finals, losing to Boston 4-2. After the game, Wallace reportedly told reporters, without taking any questions, "It's over, man," perhaps indicating that Pistons general manager Joe Dumars would break up the core of the team following the defeat. He changed his number from 36 back to his original 30, perhaps to change his and the team's fortunes, but sure enough, Dumars did indeed break up the core. At the beginning of the 2008-09 season, Dumars traded longtime starting point guard and 2004 Finals MVP Chauncey Billups to Denver. It was to be Wallace's last year with the team. After the season came to a close, Wallace and the Pistons decided to part ways. Boston Celtics Wallace signed a 3-year contract with the Boston Celtics on July 8, 2009. During the regular season, Wallace struggled, averaging career lows in points per game and rebounds per game. Also, he shot 28% on three-pointers and 40% from the field. The Celtics reached the NBA Finals in 2010 but lost the series to the Los Angeles Lakers 4-3. In Game 6 of the Finals, the Celtics starting center Kendrick Perkins injured his right knee, so Wallace started Game 7. Wallace scored 11 points and was 5 of 11 from the field in the loss. Wallace's agent Bill Strickland announced on June 25, 2010 that Wallace would likely retire from the NBA, which was made official on August 10. Following the buyout of his contract by the Celtics. New York Knicks On October 3, 2012, Wallace came out of retirement, and signed with the New York Knicks. On February 27, 2013, Wallace announced that he had a broken left foot and was expected to miss 8 weeks. He was scheduled for surgery. He returned for a final game on April 15, 2013, playing 3 minutes off the bench. On April 17, 2013, after a short return, Wallace announced his second retirement. Coaching career Detroit Pistons In July 2013, Wallace joined the Detroit Pistons staff as an assistant coach after signing a 2-year contract with the team. He worked for the Pistons for the 2013-14 season, but was not rehired to the staff of new coach Stan Van Gundy following that season. On-court moments during the 2008 playoffs, Wallace went on an expletive-laced tirade following Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics in which he lashed out at the officiating. Wallace popularized the phrase "ball don't lie," used when a player on the opposing team misses a free throw after a disputed call by the referees. One notable incident occurred in a December 2, 2012, game against the Phoenix Suns. After Wallace pushed Louis Scola and received a technical foul, Goran Dragic missed the technical free throw, to which Wallace responded by saying "ball don't lie." Wallace then received a second technical, leading to his ejection. He played 125 before his ejection. He holds the record for the career most technical fouls, the most in a season, and the most games tossed out of. During the 2010 NBA playoffs, Wallace, a native of Philadelphia and Flyers fan, frequently wore hats and other articles of clothing with the Philadelphia Flyers logo during Boston Celtics press conferences and interviews. This caused a stir with fans throughout the Boston area as the Philadelphia Flyers were playing the Boston Bruins in the NHL playoffs at the time. The resentment by Bostonians only grew after the Flyers' historic comeback from a 0-3 game deficit to win the series 4-3. Wallace continued to wear his Flyers gear despite criticism from sports commentators and fans. Personal life: Wallace has 3 children with his wife Fatima. He is a Muslim. Wallace roots for his hometown Philadelphia Flyers and Philadelphia Phillies, but not the Philadelphia Eagles of the NFL. Instead, he is a longtime fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. NBA career statistics. Regular season playoffs See also. List of National Basketball Association players with 1,000 games played, List of National Basketball Association career blocks leaders, List of National Basketball Association career playoff blocks leaders, List of National Basketball Association career playoff three-point scoring leaders. References. External links, career statistics and player information from NBA.com, or basketball-reference.com, thedraftreview.com. Wallace's NBA draft history page, the Rasheed Wallace Foundation, SI.com. Pro Basketball. Rasheed Wallace player page, Wallace involved in custody suit. Augusta Chronicle, 51,022. Wallace's comment about the NBA, Wallace and Celtics make a good match by Shira Springer, Boston Globe, July 19, 2009.